man. Audio engineer, big brother in the house, man. Entrepreneur, merchandise seller. And we want to know all about you, man. We want to know your humble beginnings, brother. How did you start? What where you grew up from, man? Where you from originally?
Well, originally I'm from Ohio, but I was raised in Texas and East Dallas area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, man. So what first of all, I want to ask you, man, how was your childhood?
Childhood pretty rough.
Oh
You know what
man.
I mean? But like the best diamonds come from the toughest cold. So like
Man.
it's all about pressure. I feel like if you haven't went through anything, then you don't know adversity. So like I embrace it. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. Makes me who I am as a person today.
So the I gotta ask this, man. What got you into, wanting to do audio engineering and getting you into that, graduating from high school? Cause I know it's tough for a lot of guys. You graduate from high school and you're trying to figure out where you want to go.
Right. So like really, as a youngster, I wanted to rap or whatever. So I had a little studio, but I wasn't really making any money off of it. So
Oh, okay.
so what got me into the engineering, funnily, is I went to media tech. I went to school for film, and kind of it brought me back into the studio kind of
Mm,
setting, because with film, with sound design and stuff like that, you gotta have a studio. So
okay.
that's kind of how I got back into audio engineering,
Oh, okay.
and I'm an opportunist, man. So like more money was to be made with a studio than it was film at the moment. So
Mm,
like that's I kind of got back into it like that.
okay, okay, man. That's crazy because you did the rapping thing, right?
Right,
Then
right,
you circle right back around to back
and
in the studio
right. How'd I
again,
get
man.
here?
So what was the difference? So I mean, in rapping, you kind of messing with beats too, or you was just straight doing the rapping
Yeah,
thing?
just straight doing the rapping.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm just I'm in the booth as opposed to behind the mixing board.
Okay, okay, because you know how rappers they had the free looms, and
Right,
then they
right.
doing the rapper. You know what I'm talking about back
Well,
in
I
the
mean,
day,
back then it wasn't even FL wasn't even around.
man.
Fruitless wasn't even around. Like everything was all nothing was digital.
Dang,
Nothing was
it was
digital.
hard
Like
work back
it was
then.
hard work back then. Yeah, fellas got it made now with technology.
Oh
Yeah, for sure, for
man,
sure.
man. So that's the trip thing, man. So with audio engineering, what did they teach you when on the other side of the music game, like from being
Oh man, just how much more it is to the music industry. You know what I'm saying? Like how much more it is to make a song. The nuts and the bolts of a song. Like it's one thing to go lay down some lyrics, but it's another thing to make the sound good. Make the song sound good. You know what
right,
I mean?
right,
So audio engineer is the most important piece in my opinion.
right, man. That's the beginning. That's the front line. Can't have the music without the what? You can't have the music without the beat, the music without the
Yeah,
rapper. You
yeah. I
know what I'm
mean, and
saying?
not even necessarily the beat. Like I think people confuse that. Like as an audio engineer, I
Right.
don't make beats personally.
Okay.
So I outsource. I got a couple of friends that I will get beats from them, but I don't make beats. I just try to
Really?
make your vocal sound as good as I possibly can.
Okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
then mix the song together.
Oh,
Make
okay.
everything kind of sound cohesive and sound like it's
Is
supposed to
that
be.
like a coding type of thing? When,
It's not coding.
straight.
It's just having an ear.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
really just having an ear for it and knowing how to accomplish the end result.
Man. So what, you got into the engineering thing, audio
Hmm.
engineering thing, and what made you transition to want to be an entrepreneur? Because we know you're an entrepreneur here, man. You got your own
I'm an
stores.
entrepreneur first.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur first. I did direct sales for like 13 years, and it was kind of more of a corporate kind of setting. I want to get away from that and kind of build something for myself, build something that I can, hand down a skill set to my kids.
Right.
I can't hand down a franchise to my kids,
Right.
but I can hand down a skill set and an actual business, a tangible item. I can
Right.
hand that down. So, I think that getting into the studio, I originally wasn't I originally wasn't the engineer. I actually had engineers
Oh.
hired,
Okay.
but some people they move on, they go to do other things, and I said, well, I don't want to ever be in a situation where I have all this equipment and I don't know how to use it.
Right, right, right.
So I learned from them. I learned from YouTube. I learned from just, trial and error. But, I say, well, hey, at the end of the day, I want to be able to
Self-sufficient
yeah, I
in
want to
this.
use this
Yeah.
equipment. You know what I mean? So like, it went from that, and I just learning, man. It's just it, just learning, just having the yearn to learn.
So now the cool thing about you is you connected with a lot of different barbers up in the DFW, man.
Yes,
And so you got
I had a
you,
barbershop.
right.
Yeah,
And so you got a business right now that you have two businesses, right? You got one
I
up in
got
the
five actually.
five. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. See, hey, man, hey, I had to get it corrected. So yeah, man. So what inspired you to start these type of businesses, which you into now, with owning a barbershop and doing all these type of things?
uh, I'm gonna say demands.
Okay,
Like with the economy to going the way it is, like you always want to put yourself in the type of business where there's a demand for it. You
okay,
know, whatever niche you just want, like people gonna get their haircut, right?
right,
We're building a beauty supply right now.
okay.
Women gonna have to get their hair done,
Man,
right?
that's good.
Yeah.
The shit,
Even when
brother.
we transition and go into like a DIY phase,
Right,
like
right,
I think the sales of like Home Depot are probably at an all-time high because everyone wants to do the DIY, right? So
right.
as chicks start doing their own hair, there's not a need for the stylist, and they're doing their own hair. But the beauty supply is still,
Man, still making money.
they're eating right now. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
So like, I try to just corner myself in areas where people gonna need your product or your
right,
service.
right. You got the barbershop, you got the so you trying to put it all together, man.
Absolutely
And
goes
so
hand in hand.
and that's the cool thing about you, man, because you understand the fact that it's all around skill set. So
Absolutely.
you teach your kids, you pass them down the skill set where they can always use. I mean, people can get their hair cut, regardless. You get
Right.
a local guy in that, cut hair on the side, and he making side money right there. So it's always a hustle for that, man. And that's what make you a very unique person, man. And you do merchandise as well, right?
Right. So my previous building, my previous studio, I actually, when I wasn't an engineer,
Right,
I wanted to like utilize all of the real estate.
right,
I didn't want to have any place. So, I had 2,500 square feet, but I didn't want to have any portion of the business that wasn't being utilized and actually bringing in income. So this is how I kind of got into the merchandising, because once again, it went hand in hand. I needed something that was going to complement the other. Right. So at first I was selling other people's clothes, just lines, going through different vendors. And I said, you know what? Like, why don't I just make my own clothes?
mm,
Right. And probably for the first 2 or 3 years, I was just like printing just for other people. Just,
man.
yeah. So just like print on demand, just, you send me your logo. Hey, look, I'm just print anything for you, and that's how I learned how to effectively print for other people. So
Okay.
saying, well, hey, one day I want to have my own clothing line. Well, what's the best way I can learn? By, just printing for other people.
Right, right, man, and that's a hell of a skill set, man. Because people, let's say it like that. Today, everybody have a brand now. Everybody branding.
Absolutely.
Everybody got this independent stuff they doing now. A lot of people doing entrepreneurship like more than ever
Right.
before, man. And so it's booming right now. So for you to be in the market you in, merchant market where you're selling different clothing and doing customization with it, that's a big thing because it's a lot of money in it.
Yeah, it's a lot of money in it. It's a lot of work in it too.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
don't get it twisted, man.
Right.
Anything this that we look and see, hey man, people are having success with it. There's a lot of moving parts to it.
Man.
A lot of moving
Yeah,
parts.
I say that, man. Anything that's gonna make you money, it seems easy because you see everybody else do it, right? But when you understand like everything that everything that's worth having is a lot of work got to be put
Yeah,
into
absolutely.
it. And so
Absolutely.
that's what people don't really understand.
In that moment, you're gonna feel overworked and undercompensated. You know what I'm
Man,
saying? But that just kind of goes with the
that
territory.
comes with it, man. Entrepreneurship, man. That's to me, I think being an entrepreneur teaches you self-discipline because when you work a job, you're not taught to really, they schedule your life instead of
Right.
you scheduling yourself. So when you're an entrepreneur, you got to schedule your time, how you gonna do it. You got the people that got the time that needs your product. You gotta make sure you get that on time. So it's kind of teaching you responsibility.
Well, yeah, it does. It definitely teaches you that, because no one's gonna roll you up out the bed and say, "Hey, let's get to it,"
Mhm.
or crack the whip and say,
Mm.
hey, if you're not at work on time today,
Man,
then you're gonna get fired. But I honestly feel like if we do it for other people, why can't we do it for ourselves? You know, you should be able to. You should be wanting to work harder for yourself than you work for anybody else.
right, man. Right. Absolutely, man. Because you build a generation. You know, if you having a family, you want to build some generation wealth for your kids to
Absolutely,
have something. And that's what we as people got to get back to. Start trying to build some type of wealth for the next generation, man.
for sure,
Because
for
we're
sure,
not building that and nobody else gonna build it for you.
for
You
sure.
know, you go with somebody else, they're gonna pay you what they're gonna pay you instead of you making that demand for yourself.
Right, right.
And so that's the importance. That's why I like what you do, man. I like your progression, man. And I want to get into, man, like families, man. Like
Okay.
because I knew a family man.
Yes, sir.
And so, man, what 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 inspired you? Because I know today, you know, families are not what they used to be. You know, people ain't having family like that no more. People, you know, the divorce rate so high. So what, you know, what keeps your family strong in today's climate today?
Oh man. Um, well, I mean, everyone's family is gonna kind of, go through something. Um, if we're talking about just the household in
Yeah,
general, like just between me and my wife, I think that I'm gonna say the foundation is friendship. You know what I'm
man.
saying? So like my wife is my best friend.
Right.
So whatever I go through, me and my wife gonna go through it together. Right. So like uh I think that people get into relationships probably for the wrong reasons at times, and they really don't have their best friend. See, your best
Right.
friend, you're gonna have their best interest at heart at all
At all
times.
times,
So with
man.
that being said, like if it's me and my wife, we like to kick it. We like to travel
But
together. You know what I mean?
let,
Like
let me.
so
It's crazy because let me guess. Because you said that's your best friend. I bet you she's your partner in business too.
no,
Really? That's
nah,
different.
nah,
That's different.
nah, nah. Hey man, relationships, friendship, and business don't mix.
Okay. Hey, that's deep right
You
there.
know what I mean? Like so when you in this life you have to wear multiple hats.
Right.
Right. So we gotta be the dad at one moment, we gotta be the husband at one moment, we gotta be the boss when we need to be the
Right.
boss, we gotta be a leader when we need to lead, we gotta be a good follower when it's time to follow, right? So it's like you just gotta wear multiple hats. And I find that when you start mixing things together,
Man.
that shit don't work, man. Sorry. I don't
Gonna
know
be
if I'm supposed
conflict
to
of
say that or
interest,
not,
huh?
but it doesn't work, man. In all honesty, man, I fired my wife 3 times when she did work.
Oh man,
You
at
know what I
least
mean?
you
I mean,
tried.
it's real though, because I mean, like as a business owner, like you expect certain results. So like, there's no excuse. Like
Nah,
I don't care who it is. It needs to get done. I need the best person for this job. And
absolutely,
sometimes it's not even me. I fired myself from certain roles and certain positions because I wasn't the best person to get it done.
man. That's very deep, man. Because a lot of people got different opinions on that, man. And I like that yours is, man. Because like everybody got their position, you know, and shit. You want to, if you have a business, man, you kind of want to run a certain way because everything's in demand, and so when you have a high demand, it's high stress.
Right. One thing I just learned, man, is if you take care of the business can continue to take care of you.
Man,
Right. So you can't cut corners and you can't compromise, when it comes to your business.
and you know, I heard a great quote from a guy who passed away, man. His name Rich Piana. He said, "The more work you put in, the more you get out."
Oh, absolutely.
And the more
Absolutely.
that goes with honestly everything in life. You know, whether it's the gym life, entrepreneur life, work, trying to move up, professional life, whatever whatever amount of work you put in, you get out. But the thing is, people are so afraid of hard work, and that's and they complain about well, I'm in this position, yes, because you ain't putting the work,
Absolutely.
and it's not easy. You know, you juggling, especially when you're an entrepreneur. That's the hardest because man, you got to build from the ground.
Well, see, the thing is like 95% of America works for 5% of America.
Damn,
Because
I ain't think about it like that.
yeah, because the 5% is willing to do what the 95 won't.
Man, that's real.
So
That's real. I ain't think about it from that.
but everybody can't be a boss.
Everybody can't. You know,
Because
everybody.
then where's the supply and demand?
Where's the partners, man?
Yeah. You know what I mean? So everybody has to play their role. You know what I'm
everybody,
saying?
man.
But for the people that want to be a boss, like you have to understand, you got to wake up earlier, you got to stay up later. You know what I'm saying? You I don't know, man. You just gotta come on with it, man.
You got to, man, and that's real truth, man. You know, the word of the week on the Brothers United Roundtable. Well, next 2 weeks we got going on is honor, man, at the round table, man,
Okay.
and that's a rule we have in this organization. So honor, very important, man. And what that means is that people who don't, you've been around people in your life. You probably been around people in your life who said they was gonna do something, especially in business, man. You really can't afford to have people say, "I'm gonna do this" and never pull through.
Right.
And so we this is an important rule, man. So we talk about this, and so I want to talk to you about: have you ever been in a situation where you had guys in your life who told you, "Well, we got this time, or we got that situation time," and they never show up, and they tell you they told you they would do it, but they never, showed up on any.
Oh yeah, I just had that last night.
Man, oh, man.
I mean, here's the thing though, like the law of average. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just gotta like weed through a lot of chaos and a lot of bullshit just to kind of get to what you're seeking.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so like as when you run across those individuals, for anybody that runs across those individuals, that's just one step closer to where you need to get. But you're gonna run across a lot of people that's not gonna stand on nothing they talking about.
Man, especially when you need things, you got business. That's the trip.
It's better to find out sooner than later.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And that's important, man. And that's why I come from, like, understanding. I said this before, that man got to start setting rules in their life, right? Because if you set rules in your life, it weeds out all the bad apples in your life, and so it puts you in a position where okay, this is the rule for my life. And if you in my life, you ain't following by these rules, I can't really, operate with you how I'm trying to function in my life.
I agree. Step further than that, I feel like that when you're dealing with people, friends, colleagues, whatever, if you don't know what their goals are, right, you don't know if y'all goals are in alignment, right? So for me, I just look at it like this. Look, I'm going in this direction. Right. And if I'm messing with you to any magnitude, I need to know what direction you're going in.
Man.
So like if we're not going in the same direction, then I think that's kind of where I put that, hey, look, you going this way and I'm going this way. Right. Our roads don't cross. Right?
They don't, man.
Because I can't impose my goals on you.
Can't.
Right. But if I can help you hit your goals and at the same time hit some of my goals, then now we're working on some mutual things.
We working on some mutual things, working towards something.
But if your goals are not in alignment with my goals, then
that's why
I can't, I got to do like the 80-20 rule. Man, you know what I'm saying? I got to spend a little less time with you.
That's it.
A little more time on my goals.
That's it, man. And that's why I like how you run your operation. You got business partner in your operation, and y'all running it as a team. And that's why I tell guys, man, if you got people or friends in your life, man, if you ain't getting money together, what we doing? If we ain't getting money, we ain't trying to build nothing. What's the point of being in each other's life? I agree. And that's how I feel about it, man. So I do like that you have the people around you, man. All of them doing something. Sure. All of them productive. They got a skill set and they're trying to better their life.
But here's the next thing, though, right? And I agree with what you're saying, but it kind of back to what we was talking about. Sometimes our goals can be in alignment, but you can outgrow your people, places, and things.
Man, that's deep.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's sense. Like, at one point, we were here and we was on some mutual stuff, but now like I've evolved and maybe you haven't evolved or you evolved, so you can outgrow people.
Yeah.
So it's not even necessarily a negative.
That makes a lot of sense, man. That comes with life, right?
That comes with life.
That comes with a lot of life, man. And so I want to circle back to the family thing.
Sure.
And what I want to talk to you about is the divorce rate in the Western culture we're dealing with right now. And I want to talk about, how do you feel about like the future, next generation? Because you got children and you're trying to raise them to be the best.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tougher than that.
Man. So when you say tough, like when it comes to family, because we see right now, man, the marriage rate is ridiculous.
I mean, being selfless is tough.
Man.
So that's what it really all boils down to.
Man.
It's being selfless and compromising.
Man, that's a hard thing for people.
That's a hard thing for people.
You think that
even me myself, I mean, like it's hard for everybody to be selfless,
man.
I mean, but me having kids and me, thinking about 6 other people before myself, that's tough.
That is tough. That is tough. Yeah, I think you think that's what people are struggling with when it comes to
absolutely.
Yeah. So everybody like
instant gratification.
Instant gratification, man. Social, and you know what? Let's go back to social media. Social media got its goods and it's got its downs. I think social media made everything so fast when it comes to relationships. instinct. Everybody want this now. They can't get it, man. I'm out of it, you know. And it's not really nobody kind of sticking through the fire,
Right.
you
I
know.
agree. I think social media just made a lot of things. Um, it just exposed us to a lot of things. It was already out here. All this stuff was going on anyway. Social media just amplified
When you say like
it or normalized it.
So things was going on, but
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
just got a camera on
Yeah,
it now.
absolutely. For sure. For sure. You know.
So that's real that you said that, because back then, you know, nobody really knew much. It was hard to get the information to know. So you kind of
Absolutely.
just assume for the best.
Does somebody think the same way I think?
Right.
Right. Now I'm scared to say it out loud.
Right.
But now that social media's come along,
Mhm.
now it's like, oh, there's some other people that's, you know,
Doing their own
they
thing.
feel the same fucked up way.
Yeah.
You know, messed up way, excuse me. Right.
Yeah, right. And
so I mean, I think that social media, like it's a bunch of bad, horrible advice just being embraced.
Right.
You know what I mean? And a bunch of BS is being embraced. You know, I mean, but don't get me wrong, if you use social media the proper way, then I mean, hey, obviously, you know,
it could benefit.
But a lot of people don't. They don't use it the right way.
That's why I say you got the. It's good when it comes to business.
There's some benefits, but there's
but
definitely some
relationships, man. I tell you, it's been tough.
You know, I never take advice, relationship advice, from somebody that's not in a relationship.
That's real. How can you tell me about what I'm doing and you ain't never?
You're not doing it.
Exactly.
You know, I got kids. You don't have kids. How you gonna tell me what I need to do with my kids?
Man, that's deep, man. That's deep, because it's
the blind leading the blind.
Mr. Blind leading the blind. So there's a lot.
There's a lot of that going on,
and I think it's
for
you know, and I think that's what I think that comes from lack of like elders, man. We don't have elders like that in the community no more, man. That people used to seek advice from. It's more the young people, and the elders kind of getting pushed down.
I agree.
You know, and I think that comes from like getting the information, like the respect thing. Like back in the day, they had more respect for the the uncles and all that. Now it's like it's not there anymore. What it used to be.
I think. I mean, it's multiple things that probably contribute to that, but I agree with you
because it's a big issue. I think this is the killer thing. Now, this a little controversial, I'm gonna say, but I think this is 100% real. I think all the crime stuff we're dealing with, all of that is from. I mean, I think it's a social thing. It's all been like designed to get the fathers out. Because I mean, from you being the father, right?
Okay.
From you being the father, you set rules for your boys, right? You
I got a number of girls.
Dang, that's deep. Yeah. How many girls?
5.
Tell me about that. Man. 5 girls. That's deep. That's even tougher, right? Because you got to watch out.
Because I got to set a standard for them.
Man, you got to set a standard, but that's still important, because if you got a father there, he gonna teach the daughter to protect herself and be aware of things.
I think for me, it's like the most important thing that I'm trying to teach them is like, number one, to be self-sufficient, not to the point where it's like, I don't need a man's like for anything, right? Because I feel like we need people just in general. Right. But like, I want them to want somebody as opposed to rely on somebody.
That's it, man.
I want them to be self-sufficient. Like, hey, look, I don't need you for no money or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I want you as a partner.
Right.
You know, so that's what I teach them, and also the way that I treat them or how I treat their mother. You know, me and my wife, we never argue in front of my kids because I don't want to normalize
dysfunction.
Right. Yeah. You know, so when it comes to them, I want them to be totally like, no, because this ain't right. You know what I mean? Like, as opposed to like, oh, well, mom and daddy do this 24/7. Like, this is normal. That's how I go.
That's deep, because when you say that, I've been in relationships where women said it's normal to argue.
That's the household they grew up in.
That's the household. It all it's crazy.
If you smoke cigarettes, then it's going to be normalized, and your kids are probably going to smoke cigarettes. You know
man, that's deep.
If you drink, you same thing. If you're in an abusive relationship, your kids are probably being one. I mean, the probability is a whole lot greater.
Man, and it comes from families, man. It comes from the environment. It comes from having good structure in the household, man.
For sure.
And
it's definitely what you expose them to.
That's why I believe they took us out. They said, You take them out, man, you got chaos. You got young kids in inner cities now, man. I'm talking about 14, 15 carrying Drakes and M6. I'm like, where they get these big guns from, man? These kids.
I think there's something else that goes with that though. I think it's I think that, and I can speak for myself because like, you know, I grew up in a crack epidemic.
Man,
you know, it's
90s.
Like, so our whole thing was I wanted my kids, and I learned this because there's no manual to parenting, right? I learned this with my oldest one, right? But like you want your kids to have more than what you got, right? But is that really good for your kids to want more than you, for them not to kind of go through it, right? Because they can't appreciate the ups when they never had the lows.
Man, that is a deep way to
you know what I mean? So like they don't appreciate shit. So now it's more of like that entitlement, you know, that's all around us in this area. It's the whole entitlement, you know.
Yeah.
A pair of Jordan, my mom didn't buy me no pair of Jordans. That ain't happening. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't happening, you know. So now it's like, oh, if you don't buy me Jordans, then you're the most horrible parent in the world.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Like, but you know, now it's even worse than Jordans because it's designers like $300, $400 tennis shoes or whatever have you not. You know what I'm saying? And if I don't get this, then and they don't even work for it. You know, like we had to work for a Big Mac. You know what I mean? Like, you know, on a Friday, not like an every day. Now it's like Starbucks or like, you know, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's. Oh no, like that's beneath me. Like, what are we talking about?
Man, you had to get how you live back then.
You had to clean the whole house up every day, all week to get that Big Mac that cost $1.
I mow that lawn.
There's nothing that's $1 now, you know, or more than that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying they don't have to work for it now. Now it's just given to them because their parents feel like, oh, well, I want you to have a better life than I had.
Right.
But they give it to them instead of making them work for it.
It's a shame,
and it's counterproductive.
Man, that is, man, because you know that's true that you said it because all my experiences from the struggles making me appreciate the ups, the grind, man. Because you know, man, because you know, oh man, I got from here to here, but I had to work from it, and you gain a lot of experience from life, from dealing with different people, who not to deal with, who to deal with. It helps you. It just teaches you a lot of things about dealing with people, the ins and outs, man. It's the growth factor, man, because you're going through experience and you're learning from all the bads and the goods. So I definitely understand, because if you're giving everything, it's like you don't know the bad. And then when you go through the bad, it's the worst.
So it's like if you have never worked for $4.25 an hour, then you're probably not going to value the dollar,
man.
Like someone who is given just an allowance, like, you know what I mean? Like you're just not going to value money the same.
That's
you know, I feel like the kids don't value money the same. You know, you got a lot of 18, 19-year-olds running around with a bankroll, but they got it from like PPP loans and a whole bunch of scamming. And so, you know, a whole bunch of stuff like that. And they don't value money. Like people don't value money.
But think about, you said the entitlement thing. Look at Boosie and his daughter, right? He got her, what, a Lexus or something like that?
There you go.
And she got mad about it. He took it away because come on, it's crazy.
I didn't even get a car,
man. Something like that.
Yeah, I had to work for my first car.
Man, I'm telling you gotta work. Man, some people don't get a car till they 20. Man, I'm telling you, man. So you're right. That entitlement is crazy with this generation, man.
So you know, with that, there's the respect for money. There's the respect for your parents. There's all the things that we talked about before that has to do with family. Like that, it's not there anymore.
Yeah. You know, that's why I say, man, we teach these rules, like, you know, the honor, you know, we teach rules like this for men to understand, like set boundaries for themselves, because men mostly live in kind of like we just doing whatever, you know. We don't really have no set things. We kick it with people and that's it. They screw us up. We kind of used to it. And he stutters up, hey man, it's whatever, you know. We kind of used to living, you know, lawless, like it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? To set the standards for ourselves. And that's what we're missing. We set more standards for ourselves. We set more boundaries for ourselves. We make better decisions. We have a better life. We know how to kind of maneuver in life and not go through all those traps that we normally deal with from dealing with life, man.
Yeah, I mean, once I learned that, you know, and people say, oh, you can be whatever you want to be, and that's absolutely true. But you know, it's all about manifesting,
man.
Right? And after you manifest it, it's like, are your actions in alignment with your goals? Number one, do you have goals? Because most people right now, you can ask them right now if they got goals. They don't have goals.
Man,
right?
don't.
So like, you know, number one is to actually have goals. Number two is like, what are you doing on a day-to-day basis to actually hit those goals?
Man.
But if your actions are not in alignment funky pair of lips to tell you anything.
Man,
You know what I mean? You could say, "Hey, I want to be a football player," but you're not in the gym.
not in the gym, man. You're not doing the
You're not
drills.
studying plays. Like, how are you going to be a football player? It's impossible.
Man,
You
it
know,
take
so
it's you know what? It's crazy you said that. People they want to be successful, but what they when they realize what it take,
they don't want to.
they don't,
No, no.
sleepless nights, countless hours,
Yeah.
man. It's a nonstop grind. And even when you're successful, it gets even harder. That's what people don't understand. I think I'm not to the point where I want to be, but I can imagine just on the grind, trying to get to the point where I need to be,
Mhm.
how hard it is. I can't imagine when you get it, how much harder it becomes because now you got all the stuff you need, but you still got to grind even harder to keep it. It don't
I agree.
stop. Because
I
look,
agree. You do. I think the ground, like the beginning stages, is probably the absolute worst.
right. Yeah, it is definitely.
and it's because like people they don't share that vision. The vision was given to you, not to the next person.
Right.
So no one's going to care about your vision like you care
They
about your
not,
vision.
man.
So you have to believe when no one else believes.
Man, you got to.
And
The
then
most.
you actually putting it into play until someone actually believes. You're not getting paid anything.
That's it, man.
So to put output with nothing coming back, like that's
Man.
probably the most hardest part.
Because I can't imagine because you got businesses now. You're established of what you're building on and you're working towards that. The thing is to get there.
To get there.
To get there it had to have been something else. And so, I know it was you at first to believe in this before you had put the bricks down.
For sure.
And so, and those who probably, they didn't believe until you start making believers out of them.
A lot of them don't.
Man.
Even, my wife included, because it's not her vision.
Right.
But I have to believe when she don't believe.
Right.
I have to say, you know what? I'm going to put my blinders on. I'm going to make her believe at it.
That's it, man.
You know what I mean? So.
And that's so true, man. Because men are leaders, man. And so we have to take charge and we have to lead by example. If you lead, you show, and it proves, man. So people see it and they're like, okay, this is okay. I see what it is. You know what I mean? I'm gonna see where you're going with this because I see it's going somewhere. And that's the thing, man. As men, we got a responsibility to lead. Most men don't really understand that. Proper guidance. I know it comes from a lot of that, but leadership is very important in understanding where you're trying to go in life. Because me growing up, man, I really didn't know what the hell I was going. Right. As a kid, especially when I graduated, man, I just like, I'm gonna go be a mechanic. I didn't know what I was doing, but I just tried to do stuff, man. And that's the thing. We don't have that proper understanding. You out here, man.
Yeah, goals change all the time.
Yeah.
My goal might be a millionaire today. And then once I get close to it, I might move the goalpost because, at what point? Like, you have to keep changing right. Goals. If you hit a goal, then what?
Right. You got to set a new one, right? You set a new one. You got to evolve with it.
If you set a goal that was maybe not attainable, then what do? You have to reevaluate your goal.
You got it, man. It's called evolving, right? We all evolved in this life, man. And that's what I learned from the years of trying to figure things out and go what direction is the right direction. It's just evolving, man.
But sometimes skills that you pick up, you might not be able to use them today, but they're still gonna.
Man, that's the thing. Skill sets, man. They always. That's why you was talking about the skills with your children. It's always, man. Once you teach a skill set, man, that it's always there, and people need it.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can use it for yourself too. Skill sets, man. I think skill sets is priceless, man. It's matter of fact. Let me recandidate that statement. Skill sets is worth billions because I agree. Everybody ain't got this skill set.
But more so than a skill set, mentality is everything.
Man, that's deep.
Mentality is everything because I don't care what my kids do. I'm not gonna give them the direction of their life.
Right.
I got one at OU. She's going to be an engineer. Right. She's the laziest one. She's the laziest one, but she's going to be an engineer.
Right.
She's going to do cybersecurity.
Right.
Right. So like, I don't like, but the mentality, I just want to ingrain that mentality.
The grind mentality.
Because regardless of what you do, being successful, it requires a certain mentality.
Man, certain hustle, man.
So it doesn't matter. Like,
right.
You can teach financial literacy. You know, like it doesn't matter what, if you're a football player, basketball player, you're a lawyer or whatever, if you don't have good money management skills, you're gonna be broke.
Man. That is so true, man.
You know, so like financial literacy is important. Having a certain mentality is important.
Understanding money. I think that's what,
Understanding money.
yeah, man. Because a lot of us don't really understand how money works. People who understand it, like, man, when I had a little business back then, man, when I was like 25, man, I didn't understand money until I got around people who was successful, and I was seeing how they was playing with money. I was like, oh shoot, this what you do with money. I'm too busy spending it on stupid things,
Right.
and I'm seeing them investing it on bigger things, and that's why I learned a lot about how money really operates. Money really supposed to work for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's supposed to put it's called, money operation. So it's operating for you. You put money in something, you let it operate for you.
I just think the things we value all the wrong things.
Yeah,
That's just pretty much it.
that's it, man. And so, man, I want to thank you, bro, for coming here,
For
Virgil
sure.
United Round Table, man.
Absolutely.
Now I want to ask the guest one though, what can we do to support your business, man? Because we know you everywhere with this, man.
Well, I mean, number one, you need some embroidery work done. You need some print work done. I'm still working on my website right now, but
Okay.
feel free, reach out, Urban Street Print at Gmail. You can definitely reach me there. Um, Come get your work done, man.
That's
Send
it,
me your
man.
logo, send me your PNG. You know,
Okay.
let's work with whatever you got. And tell me what your vision is, and let's bring it to life.
And then I gotta say this to my guests, because my people, I gotta say to my guests too, and to all my subscribers, the people supporting this channel, man. I want to say this, man. This hat, all this stuff I got, man, is from this guy right here, man. So
Appreciate the love.
definitely support this guy, man. He do a good job, very professional.
Appreciate the love too.
Man, no doubt, man. We are over and out, man. Appreciate the support.